We are winning an information war which goes beyond any short-term alliance we have with the mainstream media. And you want to throw it all away because you fear that some US government informer might come to harm?
Now, I gather you had some communication with Mr. Assange by
I
email?
did. Yeah, Julian got in contact with me at the beginning of the film to try and deter me from doing the project. He was incredibly polite and articulate and intelligent with his reasons, and you know, but he's a man of great integrity, and I completely understood his perspective and respected it. But I also had my opinion about how I thought he may be wrong. He may be slightly wrong, at least about the level to which he thought it may damage him and his cause. And also, I wanted to point out the fact that I really considered this, and I don't think it's as negative a portrayal or account as you deem it. I know the source material is poisonous to your point of view, and that's something I want to balance. I want to be able to counteract that within the story. I think to vilify him or demonize him for the sake of, you know, a dramatic arc is you know, it is not a good thing to do.
Well, he's not portrayed as a hero either, is he?
He's portrayed as a human being, and it's a really complex situation, and he's a very incredible and provocative and complex figure at the centre of it all. So I think it would be sort of dull and a waste of everyone's time if he was one thing or the other. You know, and the grey areas in this subject kind of, they travel through all of our lives. I think people who want to label someone as either good or bad or right or wrong are trying to control the chaos in a way that you can't really. These ideas are still evolving, and the people at the forefront of either spectrum of the argument really, you know, are still admitting that they're still learning. I mean, Laura Linney's character from the State Department has the lines about how she came from, you know, the traditional route of Fulbright scholarship into diplomacy, and she's watching this man who, with a few merry band of brothers, has kind of set the world around her on fire. And she sits there saying, who knows how history will judge us? Who knows who is actually going to say who's right and wrong? And I think that's genuinely how I feel about it. You know, I also think the film does celebrate WikiLeaks' achievements, and I think a lot of that's been lost in the sort of obsession over the messenger, as Julian is. You know, this incredible charismatic figure at the centre of the message has overtaken the actual message, and I think it reminds people of what he achieved and what WikiLeaks achieved in its founding years.
What surprised you most about him as a person?
Well, listen, I mean, I don't know him, so I'm weirdly ill-fitted to answer that question. But I think what I discovered through my research, through his unauthorized autobiography as well, which obviously I read, and other people who have worked with him and have an association with him to try and get a balanced view of him, is that he is someone who has a sense of humour. He's somebody who is aware of his and others' situation. He's not an egotist purely out for his own gain. He's someone who, you know, has to be a spokesperson and has to be incredibly serious and present himself. And a lot of what we've seen of him in the world is the frontman image, is somebody that can't joke because he's talking about hundreds of thousands of people's lives, or corruption in banks, or election fraud in Kenya, or the ideas of a modern media initiative in Iceland. I mean, really serious, sort of world-changing topics. But there is a human being there. There's someone who has likes and dislikes, has a sense of humour, and yeah, is a three-dimensional person. So that's what I try to give a little bit of flesh on the bone, I would say.
These are human beings, Julian. And their lives are at stake.
Well, what about the lives of the soldiers and the civilians involved in these conflicts? Death squads, unreported civilian casualties, countless incidents of friendly fire. This is information the world needs to know. So the next time you find yourself lecturing me about this organization, please try to remember why I created it and why I hired you to help me.